What's up everybody? My name is Elliott, but you can call me the Motory Notary. And behind me, I've got two big American bananas. My 1992 Corvette that I've had since high school, and my Foster Corvette, a 2001 C5 Z06. Now I say it's my Foster Corvette because I'm not gonna have it forever, because I've partnered with veteran-owned small business GetEnteredToWin.com to bring you guys, the subscribers, a chance to win this very Z06, the one that I'm touching its symbol for right now. All you have to do is use the link in my description, go to go.getenteredtowin.com/ElliottAlvis, buy a cool mug, buy a digital download, and with each purchase, you will be automatically entered to win this actual Z06 that is right here by my leg. But you need to hurry because the deadline is today, March 22nd at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. So again, all you have to do is go to my link in the description, go.getenteredtowin.com/ElliottAlvis, get yourself one of these cool mugs or a digital download, and you'll be automatically entered to win this Z06 that has been spending time in here with me for the last month or so. It's an awesome opportunity. Thank you guys so much for your support. Now, let's talk about the difference between, well, 10 years of Corvette, as long as they're the same color. 1992, 2001, 9 years and one Corvette generation separating these two yellow beauties. But what makes the C5 so different than the C4 that came before it? Well, today I wanted to take you around both of the cars and show you some of the key differences between one full generation of Corvette. And there's a lot more than you think there might be. Let's get started. Starting off with the most obvious difference between these two cars, their general shape. The C4 has that quintessentially 80s and 90s wedge shape that I personally enjoy, but by the end of the 90s, it was getting a bit old and outdated, even for GM. So in comes the 97 C5 and everything changed. It's bubbly, it's round, and a lot of people will say it made the car age better. Every angle has been smoothed on the C5. It's more pleasing to the eye. It straight up looks like a newer vehicle. When you come to the C4, you see the harsh angles and you see the dated styling and you just know it's an older car. I've personally been asked whether the C5 was brand new multiple times since it's been in my care. That says something about the design. Now, speaking of design language, I wanted to highlight the front ends of both of these cars because look how similar they are. No, they're not exactly the same, but they're both unmistakably Corvette. They have the same kind of features in the same places that make anybody recognize, hey, that's a Corvette, without having to see the rest of the car. I mean, the C4 has fog lights right here instead of these really cool functional air dams, but it doesn't matter. You can look at both of these and know immediately what it is. Now, also on the front end are the most important part of any Corvette from this past generation, the pop-up headlights. But each has a different way of presenting its pop-up headlights, and I think the C4 does a little bit of a cooler job. Let me show you. Notice how the C4s rotate all the way around when they come up instead of just flipping up once like the C5. And what this also gives you is a smooth surface on the top of the headlight rather than the C5 that has this wind sail. I mean, I'm not kidding. When you drive a C5 on the highway and you turn on the headlights, you can feel the front end lift and start to dance around. These things are straight up air brakes. Now, of course, these aren't the most aerodynamic thing in the world, but at least they tried. Now, another major difference between these cars is opening the hood, or should I say, the size of the hood opening. Look at really lift up the front end of the entire car. And well, that's a big heavy piece of fiberglass. But look, the whole front end is open. Even the tops of the wheels, it looks like servicing this thing would be a dream. Meanwhile, the late 90s came along and GM thought this is all you wanted. Well, it's a little easier to open. But man, it was so much cooler to open up the entire front end of the car on the C4. And now that the hoods are up, you can see another key difference between these two cars, their power plants. Yes, they're both still 5.7 liter V8s, but the one in this C4, which is the later refreshed C4, mind you, only makes 300 horsepower and it still has an iron block. On the other hand, the LS6 over here does an excellent job of demonstrating how much better things got during the 9 years that separate these cars. This engine makes 385 horsepower from the exact same displacement. It's insane how much better we got at making power more efficiently. Now, let's talk interior, and this is where I think the C4 takes the cake. It's got a more unique layout. The driver's area is so driver-focused and has this cool angle as if to tell the passenger not to even touch anything. It's got a partially digital dash, and everything is right where you want it. The shifter's a good distance from the steering wheel. Everything feels great, but the best part are these seats. I don't know if you can see from there, but the bolstering is incredible. It actually will hold you in place almost like a race bucket, but they're also comfortable leather seats. They just did such a good job with this interior design and layout. Unlike the timeless exterior of the C5's interior feels a little cheap and dated, which is a shame because it's such a good car otherwise. The driver's area is like not focused at all compared to like the one in the C4. The radio and HVAC controls are the same thing they used in even trucks of the era, but the worst offender in this entire car are these seats. You can tell there's just no bolstering whatsoever. It doesn't feel like it would hold you in any better than a bench seat would in a Buick, but there's just no reason for it. Why wouldn't they put good seats in the fast one, the Z06? It should have gotten better seats, but instead you just get these fat man seats that say Z06 on the headrest. It's a bit of a letdown, but luckily the rest of the car tends to make up for it. Now, price difference, and shocker, the older car is cheaper. Good clean examples of late model C4s like this one can be found for $10,000 to $12,000 all day long. Meanwhile, good clean low mileage examples of Z06s are rarely found for $5,000. So it's more like 9 years and double the money separating these cars, but that's fine. Let's be honest, the C5 improved upon the C4 in every conceivable way, and nowhere is that more apparent than when you're behind the wheel. So I say, let's get the C5 out on the road. Okay guys, out on the road in the Foster C5. Full disclosure, when I was pulling the C4 off the lift, I had like no pressure in my clutch pedal and it was hard to get it in gear, and anytime I like lifted my foot off the floor, the thing would chirp forward. So needless to say, during my time of neglect, something else has happened to it, and I really didn't feel comfortable driving it like that, not at least until that gets fixed. So for now, we'll just be driving the C5, but that's okay. This is the one you guys care about anyway, right? This is the giveaway car. So with that said, let's talk about the difference between driving this and a C4. First and foremost, something that I notice is the visibility. Even though the C4 has more glass on it, and you'd think that this fixed roof coupe formation would give you a lot of blind spots, it doesn't. You can see over the hood better, the windows are easier to see because they weren't as concerned with that cockpit design, and it makes the visibility driving the C5 really, really good. But beyond that, it's just the immediate tightness and good feeling of this car. Like I've said in an earlier video, you don't even have to drive this particular C5 out of the parking lot to know that it feels really tight and really fresh. Now, I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of seat time in C5s through my years, and some of them have been pretty loose. And I've driven cars with less miles that feel looser than this. And yet, here we are, just 40,000 miles on this 2001 Z06, and it feels just as tight as the day it left the factory. And the good part is, all of the stuff with the car has been pretty much remedied. Between my videos, John Ross's videos, Tyler Potter's videos, and 100% Jake's videos, we've fixed all of the little annoying things on this car. It started out great, but now, when you guys get it, it's going to be even better. And that is something that I think we could all be a little proud of, and gives you guys something to check out later if you want to watch a back catalog of videos. But on to more important things, let's get to the real party trick of this car, and that is that big difference in power. And well, you know, Kansas, we can actually open it up a little bit around here. Oh, you know, and like I said, it really gets up to 40 very quickly. And the thing about C5s though, it doesn't dance around. Like, the thing can be spinning its tires, it'll go dead straight. It's a very well put together chassis and car as a whole. And it just so happens to be that you can do that and then put it in sixth and get 30 miles to the gallon. That's nuts. It's literally, the car can do anything, and everything that it does well. Minus these fat man seats. Still don't like them. They're not uncomfortable, but you don't want to be throwing this thing around corners with this kind of support. Let's do that again. It's just so much fun. Oh, the power delivery is so linear and good, and the sound from these long tube headers and stock titanium exhaust, it's just perfect. This car is practically perfect in every way for me. It's yellow, it's a Corvette, it's fast, it sounds good, and you have a chance to win it for free. What more can you want? It's not to say that the C4 is slow, but it is a night and day difference between these two cars. And yes, I know I'm comparing the base model C4 to the upper level model of the C5, but it doesn't matter. You just know the difference between when you get behind the wheel of these two cars. This one is, well, it's a lot faster. Boy, have I enjoyed my time with it. But for now, well, hold on. For now, let's go put it back. Well, there you go. These cars are very different, even if they are the same hue of wildly yellow paint, but both are unmistakably Corvette. Heck, this one isn't even safe to drive, and this one is. How much more different can you be? And while I would never want to part ways with my prized C4 Corvette, I have absolutely loved my time with my Foster C5. I'm actually going to be kind of sad to see it go. But not that sad, because one of you guys will have the chance to win this very Z06. But you better hurry, because the deadline is today, right now, at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. That's the last chance you'll have to enter to win this C5 Z06. All you have to do is use the link in my description, go.getenteredtowin.com/ElliottAlvis, buy one of these really cool mugs or a digital download, and you'll be automatically entered to win this C5 that I've touched every single angle of. So again, just go to the link in my description, go.getenteredtowin.com/ElliottAlvis, buy a cool mug, buy a digital download, and you'll be automatically entered to win this very car. But like I said, you got to do it right now. It's the deadlines. We're practically here. Hurry up, go to the link. Thank you guys. But that's probably going to do it for today's video, guys. I know I've apparently got a lot of work to do on this C4, but it's been really fun having the C5 and sharing it with you all. So thank you for watching. Be sure to follow me on my normal social media stuff, and I will see you guys on the next video. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to mention the one thing that makes the C4 the better car in every way than the C5, and that's the fuel door. So check this out. You're in your boring, normal C5. You have to remember which side to go to the gas tank on, but not on the C4. Look at this. It's in the center. And what this means, it means you can pull up on either side of the fuel pump, which makes the C4 pretty much the better car. And it is in no way me trying to convince myself that the C4 is better than the clearly better C5. Anyway, wanted to share that detail with you guys. Remember, sometimes filling up in the middle is pretty cool. All right, see you guys on the next one.